Welcome to the wild world of cryptocurrency exchanges, where anything can happen. But wait a minute, what's this we hear? A new CEO has arrived to take on the daunting task of cleaning up one of the biggest messes in the industry, FTX. The question is, can John J. Ray III, the ultimate cleanup crew, handle the catastrophic collapse of corporate controls and the complete absence of trustworthy financial information that he found at FTX? With decades of experience in tackling some of the biggest and ugliest failures and restructurings in the nation, John J. Ray III is ready to take on this challenge. But will he be able to turn things around for FTX, or will it be yet another failure in his long list of accomplishments? Stay tuned to find out the fate of FTX and the capabilities of John J. Ray III, the new CEO. Imagine you're John Ray, a seasoned pro in the wild world of business bankruptcies and restructuring. You worked on big cases like Enron and Fruit of the Loom, so you know a thing or two about corporate turmoil. Now imagine you're the new CEO of the cryptocurrency exchange FTX and you're in for the ride of your life. You've just inherited a huge mess left behind by the previous administration, led by none other than Sam Bankman-Fried. It's like a giant jigsaw puzzle with all the pieces thrown in the air. You've got to pick them all up and put them back together again. But wait, it gets even better. As you start digging through the rubble, you realize that the previous team left behind a trail of broken pieces and missing pieces. There's no financial information that you can trust. It's like trying to put together a puzzle with missing pieces. Despite your experience, you've never seen anything quite like this. In a court document, you claim that you have never witnessed such a catastrophic collapse of corporate controls and such a complete absence of trustworthy financial information. Ray works for Old Hill Advisory in sunny Naples, Florida. He's right in the thick of things at the moment. But before we dive into the details, let's set the scene. FTX was valued at a whopping $32 billion, but things took a turn for the worse. Enter Sam Bankman-Fried, aka SBF, the 30-year-old CEO who had to step down due to a sudden liquidity problem that resulted in $8 billion shortfall. Ouch! SBF took to Twitter to share his thoughts on the situation, posting, "I screwed up." Now, the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Department of Justice are investigating the matter. It's not going to be easy for SBF, but he's got a tough road ahead. It's a messier situation than Enron, but Ray believes he will handle it like a pro. Ray is on a mission to uncover the truth behind the company's downfall. His goal is to find any missing assets and monies that may have been stolen and to make sure that the stakeholders get the most value out of the situation by reorganizing or selling off different parts of the company. But before we dive into the nitty-gritty details, let's talk strategy. FTX announced that they would hire investment bank Perella Weinberg Partners to help them figure out the best plan of action, whether it's selling or reorganizing some of the operations. And what does Ray have to say about all this? In a statement, he said, "We are glad to learn that many of FTX's regulated or licensed subsidiaries, both inside and outside of the United States, have solvent balance sheets, responsible management, and valuable franchises. This is based on our evaluation over the past week." Looks like CEO Ray is on a roll. Every day he's been huddling up with his legal dream team at 9:30 a.m. and 6 p.m. sharp. But that's not all, folks. According to Edgar Mosley, the boss of restructuring advice company Alvarez & Marsal, Ray is getting paid a whopping $1,300 an hour plus expenses. Talk about a sweet deal. Jared Elias is an expert in corporate bankruptcy and a professor at the prestigious Harvard Law School. He's got nothing but praise for Ray, calling him one of the greatest in the sector. Talk about high praise. Ray has a reputation for waltzing into challenging situations and coming out victorious for creditors. But despite his impressive track record, he's not one to show off on social media. You won't find any selfies or fancy photos of him online because he's too busy working his magic behind the scenes. In fact, the only public pictures of him are from a Chicago Tribune profile from 15 years ago. But as playfully observed by Twitter user Autism Capital, John J. Ray III must be like the corporate version of the wolf from Pulp Fiction. Ray made a shocking public statement regarding the status of FTX affairs, leaving everyone wondering what was to come. Even Mark Lichtenstein, a partner in Ackerman's bankruptcy practice who worked with Ray on Enron, was surprised by the statement. He said, "I was startled that he would make such an incendiary comment too soon after the bankruptcy. That was very unusual of such a cool customer like him." Looks like this is going to be one exciting and unpredictable ride. Although Ray's availability to talk with Forbes was rejected by FTX press department, he is well known in the close-knit world of bankruptcy and restructuring. Ray's strategy is to become completely engrossed in the specifics and to act quickly with teams assembled, especially for the blow-up he's interested in. He immediately divided the operations of FTX into 4 distinct silos, each of which is now led by an independent board of directors with a distinguished background, including several with whom Ray appears to have collaborated in the past. Jim Bromley, a partner with Sullivan and Cromwell, a co-head of its restructuring group who has worked with John on numerous bankruptcies and is currently a member of the legal team on FTX, says that John is not like the others. He's handled a lot of high-profile assignments and has been extremely successful. But what sets him apart is that he's straightforward and sincere. He's not one to beat around the bush or sugarcoat things. He tells it like it is and gets things done. According to a 2007 Chicago Tribune article, growing up as the son of an industrial plumber and a stay-at-home mom in western Massachusetts, Ray knew from a young age that he wanted to make a difference in the world. After graduating from the University of Massachusetts at Amherst, he set his sights on Drake University in Des Moines, Iowa, where he obtained his law degree in 1982. With his degree in hand, he headed to Windy City to begin his legal career at the prestigious law firm Mayer Brown. There, he dove headfirst into tricky cases involving mergers and acquisitions, securities law, and employee benefit schemes, quickly making a name for himself as a legal prodigy. But Ray was always looking for new challenges and soon found himself handling environmental cleanup projects, including those as Superfund sites as the general attorney for Waste Management and its affiliates. He also oversaw complicated civil and criminal litigation and investigations and had a proven track record of parachuting into challenging situations and coming out victorious for his clients. One of his first big challenges was at Fruit of the Loom, where he had his first unpleasant bankruptcy experience. Less than 2 years after joining the underwear manufacturer, heavily leveraged Fruit filed for bankruptcy in 1999. According to his CV, Ray oversaw all facets of the Chapter 11 procedure in his roles as a chief administrative officer and general attorney. He also oversaw the legal action taken against former company chairman, CEO Bill Furley, a Chicago raider over a $65 million bank loan that the business had guaranteed for Farley. But that was just a warm-up act. The largest bankruptcy in Ray's professional career was Enron, the dramatic energy collapse for which its CEO was sentenced to 12 years in prison. Ray was in the thick of it, overseeing all aspects of the bankruptcy and making sure that everything was handled efficiently and fairly. When Enron filed for bankruptcy, Ray was ready to tackle the $23 billion liquidation of the company's activities as chairman of the newly reformed corporation. In that role, he was in charge of prosecuting more than 1,000 cases, including allegations of fraud, and was in charge of collecting money for creditors. Creditor recoveries exceeded 50 cents on the dollar, which was far better than anticipated at the time. But that wasn't the end of Ray's liquidation journey. Beginning in 2010, he also held the position of principal officer for the now-defunct Canadian telecoms corporation Nortel and its American affiliates in addition to Fruit and Enron. He even joined the board of GT Advanced Technologies in 2014 as an independent member after the company lost a contract to supply Apple and filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. When it comes to overseeing the liquidation of major companies, he's the go-to guy. In 2016, he was chosen to lead the charge for a trust that was liquidating the assets of Residential Capital, a former major player in the US subprime mortgage market. But that's not all, and he also assisted Burlington Industries, Ditech Mortgage, and Overseas Ship Management in their Chapter 11 cases. Many of these businesses, like FTX, were previously the darlings of their respective industry, with assets dispersed all over the world until they encountered difficulties. Take Nortel, for example. At the height of the tech bubble in the 1990s, Nortel had a $250 billion market value, but it collapsed as a result of an accounting scandal and managerial errors. But even in the face of such challenges, Ray was able to lead the charge and hand over more than $7 billion to creditors after years of litigation and asset sales. Unlike many turnaround CEOs and board members who handle many engagements concurrently, Ray is renowned for focusing all his attention on one major disaster at a time. Now he's taken on the task of turning around FTX. First things first, he will need to identify the assets in order to build a reliable image of the company's balance sheet. After that, he will need to determine how to recover money for the company's creditors, a process that is probably going to involve a lot of finger-pointing and litigation. Similar to Enron before it, this kind of case might take years, maybe even a decade to resolve. But with Ray at the helm, you can be sure that he will be working tirelessly to make sure that everything is handled efficiently and fairly. So if you're an FTX investor, don't lose hope. A new chapter is beginning and the future looks bright. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more updates on FTX journey to recovery.